Hello, welcome to the Wandering Drew. I am Drew, and today I'm going to do a gear video for my upcoming trip on the Appalachian Trail. I'm just doing the Georgia portion, so hopefully 69.2 miles to Dix Creek Gap, and if time allows, we'll go to the state border with North Carolina and come back. So that's about an additional 9 miles north, and then I'll have to double back to get back to Dix Creek Gap because I'm going to have my vehicle there. So what I'd like to do is, I do have some changes in equipment. I still feel I'm packing too much, but I'm going to go through my pack. I just packed up today. Hopefully this is the final version. I don't think there'll be too much changes that I'll be making. So I'm going to go through some of the gear. I'm going to try not to spend too much time on any one item and just go through, but some stuff is new, so I will cover that as well. So let me start off first with the clothes that I'll be wearing. I'm going to start off with my Lone Peak 5s. I brought these on my last trip on the Appalachian Trail. They could be faring a little better. I did glue the fronts, so I'm hoping they hold up. I basically need to get about 80 miles or so, or 85, maybe 90 miles at the most if I have to double back and with extra side trips. So I'm hoping to get at least one more trip out of them, and then I'll probably be retiring them after this trip. So that's what I'll be wearing. I'm going to take them, my Lone Peak 5s. I figured it'll be hot. These are light, and they have a lot of ventilation. So that's it. I'm going to be wearing a pair of Under Armour underwear. I'm going to be bringing Injinji socks. I've pretty much switched over to Injinji socks. I'm going to be bringing 2 pairs. One I'll be wearing. These are, for hiking. They're a pair of Injinji socks, mid-weight, I believe. And then I also brought another pair that I'm going to take with me, and I'll switch off, and I'm going to see how they do as well. I've wore these to run in, but not to hike in. So these are a pair with liners. So these are very thin Injinji socks that are liners, very, very light, but by themselves they're really thin. And then you wear these socks over them, so you have the layers. And I know they go together because these are the only Injinji socks that don't have the toes. So they're meant to be used with the liners. So that's I'll be doing. I'm gonna wear, usually I wear pants. I like the protection that it gives me against scrapes and bruises, or even ticks a little bit. But because it's gonna be so hot and so humid, and a desire to keep the weight down as well and not be stifling and sweating, I'm going to wear shorts. These are a pair of North Face black shorts. They have no liner in them, so they're a little light. They do have a pocket, though, that I can use that has a zipper, so whatever's in there won't get lost. And I'm going to bring something new as well that I bought. This is a Columbia PFG. I think of something else every time I say that, PFG. It's a PFG shirt, so it's Performance Fishing Gear is what PFG actually stands for. I think of something else. I'm going to try it because I like to keep my arms covered, to keep bugs off, to keep, obviously, from getting cuts and scrapes, as well as to not get sunburned. Although I don't think I'll have a problem with sunburn in the Green Tunnel in June. I am bringing some other clothes with me that if I need to, I can switch out, but I'll be carrying this. And I have weighed everything, and I'll go into the weights later, or maybe I'll put them up on the screen. Or you know what, maybe I'll put them in lighter pack and I'll just leave a link. That'll probably be the easiest thing. On the outside of the pack, starting with the straps, I had thought about bringing a camera, but I decided not to bring a camera. The camera that I'm actually filming with was the one I was going to bring because it is sealed, so it can stand the humidity and the weather better, but it weighs close to 2 pounds with all my gear on it. And then I have to bring batteries, a charger, so it runs into a problem. Basically, I believe all the gear together weighed about 3.5 pounds when I weighed everything that I would have to take for the camera. SD cards, a way to offload them, to put them on to get them on my camera, from the camera to the phone, to then edit them and upload them. All that was about 3.5 pounds. So I decided to forgo that. So I am not going to be bringing a camera. I will be using my Samsung S22 Ultra, which I just got a couple of weeks ago. Probably have it for a little over a month now. And I'm pretty happy with it. And I figure it should take good enough video and pictures that I can use that. Along with that, a new piece of equipment as well is the OM5 from DJI. And I just did a video on this. You might have watched that already. But I bought this because it does have a little bit of a selfie stick with it. It's kind of small for a selfie stick. It could be a little larger, but I don't need much. I just want something that I can get myself in the shot and not have to hold my arm up. So you don't see my hand in the video and outstretched. And I feel this will do that while also allowing me to use it as a tripod and, of course, stabilizing the video. So all those things maybe just buy this. And I just got this yesterday, and I did a video on it as well already. You may have watched that. I'm not sure. Other than that, I will be bringing my Garmin InReach Explorer Plus. As usual, I take this with me so I can communicate with home, especially there's a lot of places where you don't have communications. And if I do run into trouble and I can't phone 911 or get help, I know I can get help with this by hitting the SOS button. It also enables me to keep in touch with my family and let them know where I'm at, and it uploads my location every 10 to 20 minutes so that they are able to track me and know where I'm at. So that's one of the reasons why I did it. I have the pads on I have a Z pack that I'm taking, same pack I've used before. I'm going to be bringing this little REI cloth, use it for a lot of things, wipe my hands, wash up, clean my tent stakes, wipe down at the end of the night, so it's very useful. I did put pads on here because I was getting chafing on my previous hikes, and they seem to have stopped that, so I'm not getting any chafing anymore on my shoulders. So that's good. I decided to put on the water bottle holder from Z-Packs, and it holds a 1 liter bottle. I want to carry 2 liters usually, but I'm trying to lessen and not worry about running out of water as much. Water should be plentiful in most of the places. I notice I'm pretty good with water. It will be humid though, so I figure I'll be drinking, but I want to bring at least 1 liter of water, and I have the ability to obviously carry more. I'm toying with the idea of going down to 2 700 milliliters bottles. Even though that'll add an extra bottle, it will increase my capacity without going to 2 liters, which is what I'm trying to avoid. So I'm going to carry this one right up front where I can reach it, but I may stay with this. We'll see. I have a little light on here. I've never really used it. Every once in a while at night I use it, but it is useful to hang from your tent sometimes if you have trouble at night or you want to see. You don't want to use a big headlight sometimes. You can use this. It also has a little thermometer. I don't know how accurate it is, so I don't really use it for that. I have 2 hip belt pouches. The left one I almost always use exclusively for snacks during the day. I keep all my snacks, my food, so I eat while I walk. I generally don't stop and take breaks. The only time I take breaks is to get water or to go to the bathroom. So I'll keep with that, since I know on my left hip is always snacks. On the right hip belt pouch, I have several things. I usually keep my headlamp in here. I've switched over to a Nikkor NU25. I'm going to see how this goes. It's extremely light. It's an LED rechargeable headlamp, and it's much lighter than the one I was using, which I've had for probably about 4 to 5, maybe in 6 years. I was using a Black Diamond Storm, an older version. So I'm going to give this a try, see how it works. I notice I don't use my headlamp that much at night. Generally, once you're in bed, you use a little bit, very little. I don't need a very bright light unless I do some night hiking, and we'll see. So with this, I hope to be good, and I'm testing it out. So since it will be the summer, I know I have till 8:39 sometimes before the sun really goes down. So the chance to use the headlamp will be extremely limited. So I don't know how good of a test it will get, but I'm looking forward to using it and trying it out and seeing if that's going to be a permanent part of my kit going forward. I will be bringing a MP3 player as well. I started listening to podcasts and books on, audiobooks and stuff like that. It does make the hike sometimes go faster or not, especially since I'm used to hiking by myself. So apologize for my neighbor's dog. I've preloaded it with a bunch of MP3 songs, audiobooks, and podcasts. So if I'm in my tent at night or I'm just by myself and I want to listen to some music or maybe a book or something like that, helps me go to sleep, or maybe stops me from hearing someone snoring next door, then I'll do that. I have a new set of headphones. They're also green like the other ones. Mrs. Drew was able to find about 4 or 5 of these and bought them on clearance. I think they cost like $5 a piece. But the good thing is that both of these headphones work. My last hike, a dog bit one of the wires and one of the headphones stopped working. So this is a replacement for that, and they should both be working. I can also use that with my cell phone with an adapter. I'll go into that a little later. I'll be bringing a bunch of stickers to use in logbooks and to give away to anyone that I run into, or some I stay, or if I happen to meet someone that is interested, or I tell them about the channel, I usually give them a sticker. So, and the other thing I'm going to be carrying is a knife. It's a small Swiss Army knife, extremely small. Don't really need it for much. It's got a little file for a nail, a little thing. The only thing I usually use it for is to open up packages and maybe to cut up some like spam or sausage or something like that. So that'll be all I need. I'm not expecting to need anything more. I don't think I need to carry a big knife. It does also have a scissor attachment, which is good if I was cutting any like tape, like Luco tape or KT tape, which I'm going to try to avoid bringing this trip anyway, so don't think I'll be needing it. So that's it for the back of the pack and the straps. So side pockets, I generally keep water. I may keep a water bottle in there if I decide to carry a soda or something like that. In the outside pocket, I'm going to carry my rain jacket. I have a brand new one. This one is slightly heavier than the one I had just bought, but I think it's a little better. It's a Black Diamond Stormline, and it does have pit zips, which the other one did not, as well, and it has a little better feel to it. Not as good as my Mountain Hardwear. I really like that one, but this is much lighter than that one, and I haven't used it yet in the rain, but I'll be carrying this and we'll try it out. Very, very possible that I will get rain in Georgia in June. It's not unheard of. It's usually pretty wet there, so I'm expecting to use that. And you know, like most rain gear, you pretty much get wet one way or another. Either you sweat, obviously in the summer it's going to be hot and humid, you're going to sweat from wearing the jacket, or you get wet from the rain. It's like the lesser of the evils. A lot of times I don't mind getting wet unless it's cold. If it's cold or windy, then I don't want to get wet. I want to stay as warm as possible and as dry. So that's where the rain jacket will come in. I bought a CNOC bag. This is a 2-liter bag. It is already sized. If you watch my other video where I compare the Sawyer Squeeze to the water filter that I was using, and you know, I was using the Be Free by Ketadine, which I still like. It's a great filter, but this one is actually smaller, lighter, but more importantly, it is actually faster. And that, if you're squeezing it, obviously. So based on my test I did on one of my other videos, I decided to give it a try. I'm going to take it with me and give it a try. So I bought this bag. It's a 2-liter bag that I can carry with me and use to filter. I thought about leaving it behind. I may still do that, but I doubt I'll carry it. It weighs about 70-something grams. So, you know, it's a little bit of weight, but it's not that much. But the ability to maybe portage some water if you're staying in a dry camp might be well worth it. So I'm going to take it with me. And it pairs up well with this, and I'll be able to refill my water and carry if I'm going to a camp that's a little dry or a dry stretch. So we'll give it a try, see how it works. And if it becomes part of the thing, or I go back to the Be Free. The next thing I have is my potty kit. The potty kit has my Tent Lab #2, or the Deuce, trowel. It's aluminum, lightweight, but gets the job done unless it's really, really tough soil. I have a roll of toilet paper with the center paper removed, and that's just so that it collapses easier. I save a little bit of weight, but I just wanted to collapse thing. And some hand sanitizer, which I can use to obviously clean my hands before and after I go to the bathroom, or more importantly, after I go to the bathroom, and if I'm going to usually touch food. Definitely don't want any cross-contamination there. Other than that, nothing in my pockets right now. Before I go any further, the other item that I'll be carrying, and I'm not really counting part of my weight, are my trekking poles. I just bought brand new trekking poles. I bought them by the same company, Cascade Mountain Tech. These are graphite. They're lightweight. and I had to get new ones because if you remember my other ones, the tips were bad. I wore them down. So these are extremely lightweight, and they're collapsed. They do the same job. They have one less segment, which is how they also lighten the weight by having 2 segments instead of 3. But other than that, they're pretty much the same ones I had before, same brand, just much lighter. So that's it for the outside of the bag and the things I'll be wearing and carrying. Now let's go into the bag. This bag is made up, basically, it's ready to go to the trail. I'm just gonna put it down on the floor. So I packed everything up and weighed it today just so that I could be ready. Z-Packs duplex tent with tent stakes, very important. If you watch my last video, you know I lost my tent stakes, so I replaced them and bought new ones, and they're in here and I'll be carrying them with me. So that's that. I am doing something a little different this time as it relates to my tent. I did decide to bring a Tyvek ground cloth. This weighs about 3.8 ounces, 3.7 ounces. It's not the right size exactly. Z-Packs wants a lot of money for their, they have a DCF or Cuban fiber ground cloth, which, you know, the tent costs close to $600 or so. So obviously to protect it is important. So I decided to get a ground cloth just because I figure the ground is muddy and dirty and sometimes there's some twigs or rocks and you don't want it to poke a hole in the bathtub. So I decided to get the Tyvek thing. It's ultra light, extremely cheap. I think I paid $20-something for this, but it is not a perfect fit. You can cut it down to size. There's no reason why you couldn't. This one just doesn't fit 100%, but it does cover the majority of the tent underneath. I should have bought a larger one. In hindsight, I thought I did my measurements. I thought I did my measurements correctly, but I guess I did not. And the dimensions are a little bit off. But it'll cover the center of the tent, pretty much where I sit, where most of the weight is. The ends usually don't have a lot of weight in them because you're not putting anything there. You know, you're not laying there or sitting there. So the center is where I really want to protect, and it'll keep the bottom from getting wet and muddy or, you know, full of leaves and dirt. So that's the reason why I'm going to bring it. So I'm going to try it out, see if I like it, and see if I'll use it. And for the 3 or 4 ounces it weighs, I figure it's a low penalty. Next thing I have is my food bag. It's loaded right now with food. I packed 4 days of food and snacks. Also have all my drink mixes in here along with rope and a rock bag. But it's ready to go to the trail. And I have some snacks in here. My wife also bought me a little extra beef jerky. So I ended up throwing a little bit more in there than I probably normally would bring. And we're planning on resupplying when we reach Neal's Gap. And I'll buy food for the rest of the hike, which would take me all the way back to Dix Creek Gap. So I think depending on how fast we go, I'll be there on day 3 or day 4. So I packed 4 days food, even though I really wanted to go less, but it's always good to have a little extra without getting ridiculous. And if I don't eat it on the way to Neal's Gap, I'll eat it on the rest of the way and try and be a little conservative and not carry too much food back to my car. So that's that. Next thing I have in here is Cozy from Hyperlight Mountain Gear. I'm trying this out, really. I don't think I need it now with the summer being here, but I do want to bring it. It weighs 40 grams, so it's not that much of a penalty. You're talking about an ounce and a half, probably. Maybe closer to 2 ounces. I'm sorry, no, closer to 4 ounces. It's like 3 something. Doing my conversions wrong. But I want to try it out and see how it works with the hot pouch in here and just get used to using it. So I'm going to carry it with me, even though I know I really don't need it for the summer to rehydrate my food. I'm going to be using mostly rehydrated meals because I already have them and I want to use them up. This is a small little kit. It's just got some personal items in here. Toothpaste, toothbrush, some Q-tips, some cleaning cloths. The only other thing I have in here is an adapter ring, which goes from one of my smart water bottles to the Sawyer Squeeze so I can back flush it with some pressure. I'll have to do that every couple of days probably. And I also have a pen, or what they call a lens pen. So this is to clean the lens on the camera that I was going to bring. but now I won't be bringing that. So I'll be bringing it to clean the lens on my phone. So make sure I get good video. So this way you don't scratch it up or whatever. Everything will be damp or dirty. And this is so you can brush off any dirt. And the other thing is to clean any smudges or fingerprints on there. It weighs less than an ounce, but I want to make sure that I take it with me so I can clean, because a lot of times everything's wet and dirty out there, and even though I bring a cleaning cloth, eventually that gets damp also, and then sometimes you clean your lens on your camera or your, on your phone, and it actually makes it worse. So I decided to bring that as well. Have just miscellaneous bags. I'll use these for trash and dirt and stuff like that if I need them. I'll have other bags as well. I do carry 2 EpiPens. I have a medical condition. I guess it's called, I have an anaphylactic reaction to, but it's, the cause is unknown. I have never needed to use an EpiPen, but I do have allergic reactions, and sometimes those allergic reactions have resulted in facial swelling or even in my tongue. So just in the event that I'm outdoors and that happens, if I can't control it with Benadryl or some other medication, this is I guess the thing of last resort, and then I'll obviously be getting medical attention. So, but it's I guess an insurance policy. I've never used it, but I've always carried them because better than have it when I need it. This is going to be my first aid kit for myself and for my gear. So in here I have a small kit that has repair kits for both an inflatable mattress and my Z-Pack tent. I also carry Benadryl, which I just mentioned why. I have some other like antihistamine medicine, and I have some antiseptic wipes in here. They're non-alcohol, and I also have some antibiotic ointment, so that if I do get a scratch or a cut or a bite, I can protect it and cover it. And then I have a couple of Band-Aids, probably about 5 or 6 Band-Aids. I didn't go too crazy. I'm paring down more and more. I'm carrying less and less, so I want to not worry about getting hurt, because I find more and more often I really don't need most of my first aid kit, but I carry it all the time. But you do want to carry something. If it's really, really serious, I'm calling for help. And I don't think I'll be able to help myself that much with it. This is miscellaneous cables, along with a portable solid-state drive, so I can transfer any video I have from my phone to the hard drive. The problem with the new Samsung phones is they do not have a card, so they're limited on how much memory they have. The only memory you have is what you bring with you on the phone itself. There's no SD card that you can put in here anymore to really increase your capacity to record and hold videos. So I'm going to have to pull them off every once in a while, or I'll put them on to back them up on the solid-state drive. Solid-state drive weighs basically 2 ounces. I think it's 25 grams. So that's really very, very small for what you get. I have a 250 gigabyte hard drive, which is great, and along with miscellaneous cables that I'll need to charge my stuff. Let me pick it up. Fuel canister for my stove, obviously, and I'm taking the same kit that I usually bring, the Pocket Rocket 2. So I have the stove in here wrapped up in a neckerchief so that it doesn't, or a bandana, as some people call it, so it doesn't scratch, although it kind of already has scratched the pot. And I basically have the pot in here and a lighter to start the fire. Some extra clothes that I'm going to bring is just a shirt, a dry fit type shirt. I'm going to probably sleep in this just to let my other shirt air out. And if I find that I don't like that performance fishing gear shirt, I'll be wearing this. And another pair of shorts that I just bought. I haven't even worn them yet or tried them out. They're extremely light. They're running shorts, so they're really short shorts, as my kids would say. But they're light, and I figure I can sleep in these as well. And if I do need to, I can switch off and wear them. I'm also, the only jacket or anything else I'm going to bring beside the rain gear is my fleece, Patagonia fleece. I figure this will take me down in the 50s if I need to. I don't think the weather will get any colder than that unless it's unseasonably cold, in which case I'll be in my sleeping bag hopefully at that point. What else am I bringing? I have a new pillow. My other pillow started delaminating and detaching from its bag and the cushioning, so I have a Trekology pillow. try it out, see how it works. It's in its own little case. I probably should take it out of there to save some weight, but I'm just keeping everything organized. The next thing I have is a brand new Thermarest Neo Air Uberlight. So I'll be trying this out as well on this trip. It did cut the weight a little bit, a couple of ounces less than the other one that I was using. And it does have the new twist lock valve, so hopefully there'll be no leaking and I won't end up on the floor in the middle of the night having to reinflate it. So I'm hoping that is a plus as well. So we'll try it out. Next item I have my Sea to Summit long spork I'll be using. Because of all the electronics that I'm bringing, I don't think we're going to stop anywhere to recharge anything or have power. The only place we'll probably come across that might have a place to charge stuff will be Neal's Gap. And I'm hoping we don't stay there very long because I'd like to keep moving. I'll probably just buy some food and then I'd like to keep on hiking. So I decided I'm going to bring two 20,000 milliamp power banks. One of them is a brand new one. It's a Nitecore, the MB 20,000. So it's lighter than this older one that I have, which at the time was the lightest one I was able to find. And this is a Boulder Pack Company 20,000 milliamp power bank as well. So I have multiple ins and outs. I can charge it with either a USB A, B, or C. And most of my stuff is a C, and some of the other stuff is a B. So with all the cables I have various combinations. I can charge all my items and multiple items at once if I need to. So that's good with that. Going back to my sleeping gear, I'm going to bring the CoolMax adapter for my sleeping bag to try and keep it clean and not as sweaty and hot. Most of the times I'll probably just sleep in this. At the end of the night, sometimes it gets a little cold and I get my sleeping bag. I actually wanted to go lighter on my sleeping bag. I thought about leaving this home, but I just know it'll be too hot with the sleeping bag to get in it. So I'm going to keep this with me. This weighs about 8 ounces or 9 ounces, so I would like to get rid of it. I might still decide to drop it, but I'll probably bring it just to keep the bag cleaner, and I can usually just sleep on this on top of my bag. And then if it gets a little chilly at night, especially when you climb up a little bit, I usually just end up putting my feet into the bag to keep warm. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I don't think I'll make too many changes, but that's one possibility. The last thing I'm going to be, I think I'm getting down to the bottom, is my Trek 1 sleeping bag. This bag goes down, they say recommend it for 40 degrees or higher. 32 is, I think, what they say the comfort, but it's probably too warm for the summer. I do want to get another bag, but I just didn't. But when I finally started to order one, it was too late. Wouldn't have arrived here in time. I was going to get a 50-degree bag, but I wouldn't have gotten it in time. So I decided to forego that and just go with what I have. Save the money. The other thing I have is my Z-Packs bag liner, which I line my bag, my gear with, and that's it. So that's all I'm going to be bringing. If you have any questions on anything, please post them below in the comments. I weighed my bag with all the items that you just saw in it. The only thing that was not in it was my DJI OM5 gimbal. Everything else that I'm taking and not wearing or carrying was inside the bag. And the bag weighed 22 pounds, 22.48 pounds, so 22 and a half pounds, which I'm really happy about that. So to me, that 22 and a half pounds or so, just under 22 and a half pounds, is a pretty good weight considering the food and water that I have. That may change a little bit, but I don't expect it to change very much unless I decide to get rid of some gear, like I decide to, let's say, get rid of that, the liner. But right now, as it is, I'm pretty happy with the loadout. I did weigh everything and I put it into Lighter Pack, and decided I'm going to put a link to that in the description below so you'll be able to see all the gear I'm taking along with what it weighs. So other than the stuff I am carrying, which I feel will not be in the pack, so I'm trying to get the pack weight and not all the gear. I'm also going to be bringing, oh, I forgot, a new watch that I got since I've been training. is a Phoenix 6S, or no, Phoenix 6X Pro. That's it. They just came out with the 7, I think, a little while ago, so I bought the 6. So the price seemed like a good price point. I don't use a lot of the stuff anyway. I don't need the latest and greatest, but I needed to do what I want. And I do like the Garmin product line, so I got rid of my Instinct, gave that, one of my children, my son, was glad to take it from me. Like I say, they get a lot of my cast-offs for gear, so they don't have to buy stuff. And I'm using this now, and I'm actually very pleasantly surprised by the battery life, which is a lot better. I have not used it really for hiking. I need to tweak those settings because it is running out, but it's something, once again, that I usually plan on charging every day, or nearly every day, so I don't think that'll be a problem. The Garmin, I can usually go 3 days to 4 days before I have to charge it. So the big consumers of electricity will be my watch every day, my probably the gimbal, as well as my phone. Those are the things I have to charge every single day. The MP3 player, usually every 2, sometimes 3, even 4 days, depending on what's going on. Since I'll be going with someone else, I have a feeling we'll be talking a little bit more. I probably won't listen to the music or podcast as much. Maybe just at night, or on the off chance when we're walking and maybe there's like some quiet time. But I have a feeling I won't use it as much as I think I will. Other than that, I don't expect to be using power too much for the other devices. So those will be the big consumers. And I think I have enough for easily 8 to 9 days if everything starts out charged, which it should be. As it relates to my pack, I'm just going to look over here. According to Lighter Pack, my total gear weighs just under 27 pounds. With every item is measured separately, and I'm probably off slightly, but I think that's pretty good, within, you know, maybe 3%, 2%. So it comes out to 26.96 pounds. So we'll say 27 pounds total. That's all my items, including the stuff I'm wearing. So obviously that's not very accurate weight. So it says my consumables, stuff I'm carrying, which is obviously food, water, and my fuel, comes out to 6.7 pounds. I'm wearing 4.03 pounds, or 4 pounds of gear. So that's the stuff I'll be wearing, which is including my shoes. So the shoes, the trekking poles, the underwear, the shorts, and the shirt come out to about 4 pounds. And then the last thing is what it's calculating as my base weight, which is the thing that we're all usually interested in the first place. And it says my base weight is 16.23 pounds. So 16.2 pounds or so, I'll take it. There's definitely room to grow on that. I can get a little lighter, and I've already mentioned some ways I can get lighter. Obviously, I can go to a different liner, maybe a trash bag, which would be a couple of ounces less, an ounce or two. This only weighs, I think, 4 ounces, but it could go to half the weight. Obviously, I could leave the sleeping bag liner home and probably save 8 ounces right there. I could leave the extra clothes home, go with 1 pair of socks. There's all different ways that you could use to save weight. But there's a point where weight, safety, and comfort all have to intersect. So I feel pretty good about the pack as it is. I think it's well within the ability of the pack to handle. I think it's well within my ability to handle it. I think I'm only getting stronger as I continue to progress and train. Obviously, I'm a week out, less than a week out. So if I didn't train now, it's too late. But I think I'll be fine with the weight that I'm carrying, and I think I can easily support that over a hike. So that's it. That's my gear. If you haven't, like I said, if you have any questions, please leave them below in the comment section. If you like what I'm doing and you wish to do so, please feel free to subscribe, give me a thumbs up or a like, and I hope you found this informative. Like I said, I'll put the Lighter Pack link in the description of the video so you can see what I'm carrying and my weight. And I'm open to any suggestions for gear, especially when it comes to more useful or lighter, or maybe some things I haven't thought of. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Appreciate you watching it. Till we meet again. So won't be bringing that. I'm just going to use my iPhone. I don't have an iPhone.